When I was younger, I would hear them yelling or screaming at each other. I would be in my room, say, playing with something. I wouldn't know how to react to it.
The house was just so that, we can eat, sleep, go to work, and that was it.
It was no point in being lonely together. It was better that I was lonely alone.
I think at that time, something happened to me. I knew something was wrong.
Andrew and I met when we were very young. We met in church, so we both joined the youth choir. We spent a lot of time together as young teenagers.
When I seen her for the first time, I was thinking, who's that new girl that has come into the neighborhood? So that was a little bit of a spark that I had. Plus, she was different to all the other people that I knew, or the other girls that I knew. The way she carried herself, she was also very good looking. So obviously I was attracted to her.
Idea of marriage for me was that I would get married in the church because we were both from the parish, but I had no idea about marriage as a sacrament.
There was no sort of deep, meaningful relationship with God. So my expectation of marriage was that I would be similar to my family.
I expected our marriage to be fun, loving, honest, and open.
I would go to work, I would be the breadwinner, and then Marian would stay at home, and then when we had kids.
And I expected us to be equal partners, where we would be a team and we would work together.
We got married, we moved to Hong Kong to start our marriage life. Very good at the start because we were always together, we were always doing things together. Life was happy, but unfortunately, I had to leave for extended periods of time. So I would go for maybe sometimes 3 to 4 months.
I really missed him and I was very lonely.
But then when we used to meet, when we used to come back from my job, it was like almost as though we had another honeymoon. It's a hard thing to take when you know you can't have your own biological kids. And it was almost like a divine intervention because we both at the same time said, since we can't have kids of our own, why don't we just adopt?
And so we adopted this beautiful baby girl and we named her Allison. It was a joyous time for us, but there was a lot of pain in being unable to have children. We know that Allison is a gift in our lives.
And it's the best thing we've ever done. She was just an absolute blessing. Life carried on, then we emigrated to Australia.
We left everything familiar behind and we came to Sydney with a little child. We had no close friends or family around us, and Andrew and I were together 24/7 every day of the week. And that was something that I was longing for, because when we were not together, I was longing to be together. As the days went by in Sydney, I felt the loneliness here, in spite of Andrew being here.
I used to go to work and work really hard, work extra long hours, and then I would come back home really tired, being away from 6 in the morning, sometimes till 6 in the evening. I would come back home.
Our daughter was very little, and she was the only company I had during the day. Life was new to me, and I probably went through with my mental health as well, missing home and missing things that were familiar. I started to feel lonely, probably a bit depressed. I think I leaned on him a lot for, connection and comfort.
And literally, I remember so clearly, Marian would follow me all over the house, like literally follow me. So I used to always tell her, just give me 5-10 minutes. I need to settle down. I need to relax. I've been on the train. I've had a bad day at work.
But I didn't see that as an excuse, so I just wanted him to help out, because I was tired too from all the housework and looking after Allison during the day. I used to get very annoyed when he came home from work and he would just sit down in front of the TV and not help out or not connect.
I used to watch a lot of TV because we've had this fight. I would sit and just watch hours and hours of TV. And the only reason I would do that was so that I didn't have to go into the bedroom when she's sleeping. I wanted her to fall asleep so that then I could then quietly go in, because I didn't want to do nothing with her, not talk to her, not even look at her. I just wanted to just go to sleep, get up in the morning, pack up quickly in the morning, and then go to work so that I'm away from her. And then bit by bit, I could see there was this distance growing between us. Small little things that she wanted to say would become like an argument, and then I would get angry with her. And I remember walking across from one room, and I had to pass the kitchen area, and I think Marian was in the kitchen then, and going across towards the bedroom. And then as I went past, something hit me in the head, like really hard. And I thought maybe Marian had slapped me, or I can't remember what it was. But then I seen, then there was an apple on the floor. And then I realized, because she had come out looking at me, and she was almost like, yes, I got him with that apple. And she was almost happy that she had sort of hit me with the apple. But at that point, I was so angry that if I had not thought about it for that one split second more, maybe I would have gone up to her and maybe caught her, or I wouldn't hit her, but I was that angry.
Just going through life like two ships on the ocean is not something I wanted.
Our communication was really poor. Sometimes I would be so angry that I would not talk to her for like 2 or 3 days.
It was a very dark time for us at that time, because we were both alienated from each other. In our dark times, I always had a deep faith, but I was so consumed by my loneliness and my, misery and my anger towards Andrew that I didn't give God a chance. I prayed and I was connected to God, but not very deeply. I was more consumed by my own emotions.
When I was younger, I would hear them yelling or screaming at each other. I would be in my room, say, playing with something or playing with my toys. I wouldn't know how to react to it.
I did feel guilty at those times because I knew I had a little child. But I was going through something, so it was really hard for me. One day I just decided it was better if I just left. So it was no point in being lonely together. It was better that I was lonely alone. So I decided to leave, and I started to pack my suitcase.
I could hear something in the bedroom and I was wondering what she was doing. And I went in there and she was packing her bags. And I thought, oh, maybe she's bluffing me into believing that. So I just ignored it. Then I heard her saying, like, Alison, pack your bags. Then I was wondering, why is she calling Alison to pack the bags? What's it got to do with Alison?
Mum already had her clothes in the suitcase, and then she came up to me and she goes, go get your clothes, some of your toys and things, and let's go. I was very confused. I was like, where are we going?
They were walking towards the door with the bag and Alison. So I said, oh, this is really serious now. So I went in front of her and I said, what do you think you're doing? Where are you going? She said, I'm leaving. And I said, okay, you can go, but you're not going to take our daughter. I'll fight you for this. There's no way that you're going to take my daughter away from me. And I think at that time, something happened to me. I knew something was wrong. Every time we fought in the past, it would be like a scar was opened up. And then after a few days, everything would be okay. We would get back together. But then when we had the next argument, it was like someone had come and pulled the scar off. And then the wound would open up again. Like, I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know what to do. We were stuck. I didn't think we were going to split or move on. But at the same time, I thought that if this is how we're going to live for the rest of our lives, there's no point. What is the point of fighting all the time? All the time. I even started doubting whether God would help us. What's the point? I don't pray to Him. And now I go back to Him like a sinner and say, oh, save my marriage because, I'm in this situation. Now you save me, but otherwise I don't bother about you. So I even was doubting God at one time. Like, what's He going to tell me? You're coming to me now?
And it was at that moment I realized I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave our daughter behind. And I realized that we were a family. I think that day God spoke to me through Andrew, and it changed things around for me. So after I realized that this was my family and I had to fight for us, I welcomed God into my life. I trusted and hoped for a better life together. But I knew that I had to do something.
We were going through such a phase that at some point, one of us or both of us had to sort of compromise and try to make our marriage as best as we could. And I think that was the journey that started for us, small baby steps. We soon realized that we needed to spend more time together. We needed God in our lives, which was missing. We still had our deep-seated issues underground. We were sort of trying to work through them. Ever so often that sort of would come up to the surface like it'll bubble up and it will suddenly project itself out. We used to get these, we used to sort of think, we don't want to go back into the same spot that we were.
one of our friends invited us to a worldwide marriage encounter weekend. And on that weekend, that was the biggest conversion of our married life. I went on the weekend thinking that Andrew would change, but I think I changed because I saw that I needed to change. I think that change only came from God, from God's grace in our lives. Till then, we hadn't realized how important the sacrament of marriage was, and we were just blown away. So, and we saw everything differently after that. We realized that God was in our marriage, that He was the third person in our marriage, and we were not alone. All those days of loneliness was now almost pointless because God was with us. We started to lean on God, and we started to lean on each other. And the miracle of it all was because we were doing that, because we were making God the center of our marriage and our lives, I started to see Andrew as a good man.
And I sort of started to see Marian as, God has put this person in my life that I need to cherish and treasure and love, like how God would love His church and His people.
I realized that I needed to love Andrew like the way God loved me. And every day I'm challenged to do that.
I wasn't expecting anything back from Marian, but when she looked into me and looked into my eyes and says, I really forgive you for what you have done.
Asking him for forgiveness and giving forgiveness was the healing for me. Sort of understanding where Andrew was coming from and understanding what he was feeling and why he did certain things. We started to talk about all those things, and the healing process started, and we can say today we are healed.
They changed so much that we started eating dinner together as a family, sitting around the table, have conversations about our days, about things that would worry us or things that we would stress about. There was a lot more love and affection, especially towards me, spending time with me just one-on-one as well.
The greatest gift that you can give your children is the love between a husband and wife. So if you can see the love in a husband and wife, the child always remembers that and wants the same thing for them when they grow up.
This couple love each other with a passion that always inspires me. And I've also seen them, because I've known them for 14 years, I've seen them in good times and I've seen them in very difficult times. And their commitment to each other and to God and to the church in those good times is beautiful. It's their complementarity of each other and the way they gift each other in that complementarity that reveals so beautifully their love of each other and their love of God and the love of the people that they serve.
We adopted a certain things that we did to keep our marriage, vibrant and alive. And we believe in communication. So we started to communicate more, but not just more, communicate on a deeper level. Communicate on a level of feelings and desires and dreams and plans and, those sort of things. We've been married for 31 years. God, as we always said, is the center of our marriage, and that has brought us like a wholeness. So we've been healed through that.
Are you searching for purpose of life? Discover your true identity. Stay tuned to Shalom World.